I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're delighted to introduce you to Debra McCormick. She is a remarkable author whose latest work is called Hands Off, He's Mine. She delves into her personal journey of faith, resilience, and the search for solace. Born in Kentucky but making her home in California, the author paints a vivid portrait of her life, balancing the spiritual serenity she found within the church's walls and the challenges she faced in her personal relationships. This tale is both a testament to her faith and a guide for others navigating similar paths. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank our team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like her by subscribing to our channel and, more importantly, purchasing her wonderful book. The links are below this interview. Debra, thanks so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk a little bit about your book. Let's give them the big picture for the folks at home. What's your book all about, if you're going to give them an overview?
The book is about 17 years of my life. Not really thinking about life when I was young, marrying the wrong person and trying to figure out how to get out of the marriage.
Yep.
Bottom line.
Guilty, guilty, guilty. I think we're many Americans, many people have the same things. They're kind of go through life not really thinking about it too deeply. Get married to the person, it's the wrong person. Getting out of the marriage ain't easy.
Right.
It definitely is a journey that many people can relate to. What do you mean by the title? Hands Off, He's Mine.
I was 15 years old, and he had came with a cousin of mine from Kentucky to Phoenix, Arizona. And my sister, which was older than myself, we were looking out the door of my bedroom, and I looked at my sister and said, "Hands off, he's mine."
Exactly. So this is kind of love at first sight.
Yeah, you can say that. He looked like Elvis.
That sounds great. That sounds great. So did this man go on to be your first wrong husband?
You got it.
Yeah.
2 years later.
Exactly. Well, like I said, that's part of growing up. Some people call them starter marriages. But you're a person of faith. You grew up in a church, pastored by your grandfather. Now, did this make your journey easier, or did it make it harder? Because sometimes divorce is tough when you come from a very religious background. Tell us about that.
I think it made it harder because the way I was raised, you did not divorce under any circumstances. And I did not know what to do. I knew pretty quick, right after we got married, that he was the wrong person. But how to get out of it, I didn't want to admit to anybody how he was. And so with being within the walls of the church, and I had been singing since I was 3 or 4 professionally with my mom and sister. How do you tell your family what's going on? They saw a lot that I didn't realize, and my kids. So I just kept on trying to hide it and thinking they said, pray and he'll change. Pray. Well, I prayed and I prayed till I got sick of praying. Yeah. And it didn't work. I got smart because the state of California took my children, to be honest. I woke up. There's got to be something else in the Bible I did not see. So I started studying it on my own.
Yeah.
So
God helps those who help themselves sometimes, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. In the book, you discuss the tremendous amount of hurt and abuse you experienced. What motivated you to share this personal account, and has the process of writing been therapeutic for you?
Actually, I started it because the pastor's wife that counseled me after I got married again, she said, write it down. And I was very good at writing. And I started writing my feelings down. But then as I wrote it down, it was therapeutic. And I decided after 10 years of writing to put it into a book to help other people.
Wonderful. Well, we're glad you did. Music is another art form you're involved in, and it seems to play a significant role in your life, especially with the songs you've written. Tell us a little bit
Yes.
about your music and how it's been a source of comfort and expression for you throughout your experiences.
Well, it was my life. I was raised singing. I loved singing. It helped me through everything. And when I got married to the person, um, it would take me away from if I could sing about God, it took my feelings away that I wanted to kill the person. I'm not lying about that.
Yeah.
Because one of the chapters talks about I actually planned his death. Even being a Christian, you think you can't do that, but you can. And I almost did, except the voice of God said, don't do it.
Yeah.
So I stopped. It's just always been a part of my life because it makes me come alive. And for 17 years, he tried to stop it. I was singing when I married him. He did sing. He had a very good voice. And I thought we were going to be like a duet. That didn't happen. Every time I went to sing, he started singing and made me shut up.
Yeah.
So it was just, to me, it was like putting me in prison.
Yeah.
And I had to get free somehow. So.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the impact on your children. You said the state actually intervened at one point, right?
Yes, they did. Up to a certain point, it was getting so bad, and my oldest daughter ran away, and she went and called the police, and they came and took all my kids. And that was the end. I knew God had to be intervening, and I had asked him, God, if this is you, take him out of my life. I was I was making God responsible for what I had did. And so I told him when it happened, I said, I didn't ask you to do it like that. God's ways are not ours. And it doesn't mean that he did it, but it did happen. And it was like, turn your life around. You've got to get away from this person. And the state of California said he could never come around my children again.
Which
So
is a
that's
blessing.
how, yes, it was a big
Yeah.
blessing.
Yeah. Yeah. How did you get your kids back? And tell us a little bit about that struggle.
It only took me 3 months because I worked hard. I had to go to therapy. I had to go to parenting classes. I had to make sure that he never lived with us again. I had to move out of the house, find me a place to live, go by their rules. I was in the court system for over 2 years.
Yeah.
They would check up on me because I was gotten, believe it or not, for child abuse because I allowed it to happen.
Right.
And I never looked at it that way. And I didn't realize actually what it was going to do to my children till I wrote the book. At the end of the book, I share that I didn't realize what I was going through, my children were going through.
Yeah.
And there's some horrid stories.
It's a tough time. I mean, like you said, you
Is.
have the push of your family, the push of your faith to stay together. You have the economic realities of trying to live on one income when you have,
Yes.
children. So there's a lot involved there, and it doesn't make for easy decisions. And it's a tough time.
It is.
A lot of us have lived through it, and it's very, very tough. What do you hope readers take away from your book?
One of the major things is that they have to hold on to God. They have to have God in their life. If it wasn't for him, I'd be dead. And I know that. I give him all the glory. Second thing I'd like them to learn is that if I can make it with 7 children, not ever working out, being a mother in home, and saying, God, help me through this process, because you can get through many hoops. And it's like, I never dreamed I'd be doing what I am today. I do taxes.
Mm-hmm.
I teach taxes. I wrote songs. I wrote the book. I co-pastor a church with my husband now, and I'm a worship leader. You can do all things.
Yeah.
Through Christ that strengthens you.
Exactly. Yeah. Want to learn how to do a little bit more? Ask a busy person, right?
Yeah, there's no time for anything.
Yeah. Well, it's good. It sounds like you're living a rich, full life, Feels like you're living the life that you missed out on for 17 years while at the hands
I
of an
am.
abuser.
I am.
And hopefully your children are okay years later.
They're getting there.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the third things I would tell people. It's not just hurting you, it's hurting your children even worse than you, because they have nightmares. They get in to drugs just like their father did, some of them, some alcoholics, and they blame you
Yeah.
for letting them live that life. And I think that's one of the things are straightening out, but it doesn't happen overnight.
Absolutely.
It happens with a lot of prayer.
Absolutely. A lot of prayer, a lot of faith, and a lot of action on your part, action like you took.
You got that.
Yeah. Debra McCormick has written a powerful book. It's called Hands Off, He's Mine. She dives into her personal journey of faith, resilience, and the search to basically save her life and save her family. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. Thank you so much, Debra.
You're welcome.
And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.